Hello YouTube, this is BUB'S Comics coming at you with a support video for Lindsay's Geeked Out Knickknacks. She's reached her 100 subscribers and she's got a contest going on, so we're going to go ahead and submit for that. Her requirements are you got to be subscribed to the channel, which I am. You got to be 18 years or older, check. And you have to comment or video, I'm going to do a video obviously, entry with a YouTuber shout out and tell her one item in the collection that you would never part with and why. First I'll do my YouTuber shout out. I'm gonna shout out That Comic Guy Chris. I'll leave his link in the description below, and he is a he's under 100, so but he's not too far. I think he's in the 80s. So let's see if we can get him bumped up over 100. He's local-ish to my area. He's a pretty cool guy, and I love his hauls. He does a very dynamic face to the camera kind of action. I like that he stands up while he delivers. That's pretty neat. And you know, I just enjoy seeing his hauls, and he gets his kid involved too, and they go to cons and things, so it's pretty neat. So I recommend That Comic Guy Chris. Y'all check him out, see if we can get him over 100. Also, my one item that I would never part with is this model of the Starship Enterprise. This is from the original series. I'll do a little additional look here. Hold on, if you come with me. Look out. Okay. So there is the box, the original box that it came in. The short story on this, which is probably long, is simply that I've spoke about it in earlier videos, but I had sold some Lego figures. I was collecting Lego figures for sale, and I had sold some to a local comic shop, and in exchange I got cash and also a bunch of store credit. So they had this cool model kit. It's an original Star Trek model kit. Had all the original parts. Everything was still polybagged, and I wanted to get that done. I don't have the patience or the skills for all that painting and such, but my wife's cousin does, and he is a hobby modeler and just one of those just all around amazing talents when it comes to that kind of stuff. Does the painting, the sanding. I had no idea that there was so much that went into modeling, but he did. So I made a deal with him. I said, look, come with me, and I'm gonna pick out one item. They had lots of models at that comic shop at the time. I said, come with me and pick out one item, and I'm gonna pick out one item, and then you build my ship for me, or my model for me, and then I'll pay for whatever model he selects, which of course was all store credit anyway. So it was all kind of found money to me, and in the cash that I had got on the deal on the Lego figures, I was already ahead. So that's what started all this mess, all this comic collecting mess. So if you see, this is the job he did. It's absolutely fantastic. You can't really see it in the video. The texture to the paint, everything is like a metallic, very, very authentic. It's all hand painted. He even went above and beyond and got additional decals, and some are painted and some are new decals, and it really just, look at the weathering that he put on those fins or whatever they're called. Of course, he knew the official names for all these parts. I did not. And they were even on his Facebook forum, so I got to watch it being built all along. Took him a couple of months. Just fantastic. Just watching the whole thing come together was just quite a joy and a pleasure. Ended up, you know, exchanging. He gave this to me around Christmas time. We met up for lunch, and he gave it to me around Christmas time, and I gave him a present as well. I had come across a signed photo of Scotty from the original series Star Trek. So and he's, you know, James Doohan, and he's dead now. So it's pretty neat to come across that. And not only was it signed, but it was personalized to this guy, the same name as the guy that built this. His name's Randy. And it was the same name. It said to Randy from Scotty. Thought that was really cool and signed by James. So I found that, picked it up for a song, gave it to him, and he was framed it. He was real happy with that, and I'm real happy with this, of course. So now Lindsay says, would you part with it for $1 million? I have to tell you, for $1 million, I'm pretty sure everything in my collection is available for purchase. So if there's anyone out there with $1 million and you see this Enterprise even, we'll talk. Definitely anything else in my collection is a given, and this we'll talk. But for $1 million, it's all replaceable. But other than that, but even stupid money, if somebody was like, this was basically free to me. So if somebody was like, oh, I'll give you a couple of $1,000, I wouldn't take it. Because it's truly the only thing that I own in my collection that is handmade and irreplaceable. Everything else, even the low print runs and the signatures, even a signature of someone who's already passed away, none of that is going to mean as much to me as something that was made for me. And there's nothing else in my collection like that. So there's a couple of things, things my son has made and things like that I also wouldn't want to part with. But this is pretty special to me, and it also is one of the things that got me into collecting comics, because I had that big store credit to work off of. And really, this is very representative. I actually built this entire shelf up here, this tall one here. I actually built that just for this item, and it normally rests here, if you've seen it in my other videos, in front of the Star Trek X-Men comic. So it rests right there, and that's its normal resting place, and that's where it docks. So that's it. That's my item I would never part with. Y'all check out Lindsay's Geeked Out Knickknacks, and also check out That Comic Guy Chris. And I'm sure you'll enjoy their channels as much as I do. And after I redock this very carefully into its station, I'm going to go read a comic book, and I suggest you do the same. Thanks. Bye.